What is up, guys? Frosty0232 here today for another Frosty Features. This one has been long awaited for me. This is something that I'm very excited about. It's the one, the only Cosmic Ghost Rider, Marvel Legends with, oh god, where's his face? I think his face is there, but I can't see it. With his motorcycle. I love Cosmic Ghost Rider. I think he's really fun. He got added to the game. He's on the out of time team. He's the second person Frosty Feature we are covering there, and I'm very excited to talk about him. What this is, if you haven't been doing Frosty Features before, what this is a comic book background on the tunes that you use in Marvel's Strike Force, and I am your humble guide. So, with all of that, let's get started. According to Scopely, in an alternate universe, the Punisher, Frank Castle, becomes the Ghost Rider after Thanos destroys all life on Earth. Desperate for help defeating Thanos before the Mad Titan destroyed the universe, the World Eater Galactus made Ghost Rider his new herald. Combining Ghost Rider's spirit of vengeance with the power cosmic, the Cosmic Ghost Rider set off with Galactus to defend the universe from the most powerful threats and to defeat Thanos once and for all. So that is the blog post description of what Cosmic Ghost Rider is. I will kind of grade this at the end of the feature. Let's move forward. That is the man of the hour. So, as you just heard, who this is Francis Castle from Earth TRN 666. In this Earth reality, it's the Thanos wins storyline, which actually, first appearance, Thanos, Volume 2, number 13 in 2017. This is a alternate universe where Thanos, he decides that he's going to do the whole court lady death thing, so he's going to kill everybody in the universe, and he wins. He succeeds in doing this, he kills the Avengers, etc., etc. So, with this, in this situation, we have, well, I don't want to break into it too much. So, all of this, Cosmic Ghost Rider hinges all the way on Thanos. His whole storyline, up until, he has a little stint in hell with Johnny Blaze. Up until there, it's all about Thanos. Powers and abilities. So, we've done Silver Surfer free feature. We've done a Ghost Rider Robbie feature. So we've talked about these before. So Frank Castle is a highly trained veteran mercenary type, not a mercenary, but a highly trained veteran, inherently city level, but he is a human being. That tied with the spirit of vengeance, essentially being possessed by a high level demon and being able to tear people apart with hell chains and be able to convert things into his hell cycle. He's got the coolest hell cycle. It's got freaking energy wheels, right? So that is very strong. And then also the power cosmic is the cosmic awareness granted by Galactus to his heralds. So it essentially gives him universal knowledge and ability, so he can manipulate matter, shoot beams, fly, pretty much anything. So combining those two, since the powers don't really conflict at all, right? They weave together really well. So combining those two just makes an insanely powerful being. And even in the comics, Cosmic Ghost Rider normally, because he gets in the comics, spoiler alert, he gets his butt kicked a lot. And he's ridiculously powerful, but he's holding back, and we'll talk a little bit about why that might be in a bit. But just be aware that the being of Cosmic Ghost Rider, it's kind of criminal Black Knight's so strong on Out of Time, because really the strong one should be this guy. But then also in canon it might not be. I digress. Aliases, Ghost Rider and the Punisher. It's the Punisher. It's the Punisher as Ghost Rider, as a Herald of Galactus, etc. Affiliations. Heralds of Galactus, Guardians of the Galaxy, and the Ghost Riders. It is what it is. When you're a Ghost Rider, you're part of a greater hell team, more or less. Heralds of Galactus, they get called together sometimes, but since he's kind of an alternate reality, doesn't exactly work that way. And he also interacts with multiple galacti. And then Guardians of the Galaxy is a very short stint, and he actually joins the Dark Guardians, which I argue are still sort of part of the Guardians of the Galaxy, but they're like the It's like Avengers and Dark Avengers. So we'll talk about it. Background: Queens, New York. It is Frank Castle. His in the situation. In TRN 666, the Earth is diverges based on that event where Thanos makes that decision. So Frank Castle's family is murdered in front of him after he serves a long time in Special Forces, and he becomes the Punisher. And in the situation that he becomes the Punisher, or he's the Punisher, Thanos is destroying the world, right? Like it said in the according to Scope in the blog post. In that situation. So who died? Because you can't be a hero, a superhero, or supervillain without somebody dying. To become the Punisher, his family died, right? I said that. But for him to become Ghost Rider, he died. So for him to become Cosmic Ghost Rider, the whole thing is kicked off by his death. So he is not killed by Thanos, as it said in the blog post. What happens is Thanos is in the process of killing the Incredible Hulk, right? So he takes Hulk and he throws him through a building, and the building falls apart, and a large piece of debris falls on Frank Castle. Now, the Punisher is a person, right? He's a highly trained person, but highly trained people still get smashed by boulders. So he dies and he goes to hell because the Punisher, albeit having some sort of reason to do the things he does, he's not a good guy. And he was well aware he was going to hell, and he gets to hell. And he sees Mephisto, and Mephisto's like, ha 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 ha, you're here. And Frank's like, yeah, I know I'm here, but I'm glad I'm finally done. And Mephisto's like, are you though? Because I can give you the power to kill Thanos, and you can have revenge not only kind of sort of for your family, but for Earth. I can give you those powers. And Frank's like, you know what, screw it, let's do that then. But in reality, because it's Mephisto, right? He's like, you can become the new Spirit of Vengeance. I'm going to let you do this. Let's go. And Frank's like, okay, great. I'll do that. And he sends Frank back to Earth as the Ghost Rider, giving him all these powers. And Frank emerges and he's like, yeah, let's go. I'm going to kill you, Thanos. Thanos is gone. Everybody on Earth is dead. Barren planet. Nothing's there. Right? And so part of Mephisto's plan, it's just like a little bit of dialogue, but I think it's so cool. Essentially, Mephisto was like, well, he's been longing for death for so long, I'm not gonna let him have it. That's his hell. So he's stuck by himself on Earth, desolate, everybody's dead for years and years and years, because he can't die, he's undead, right? So he's trapped on a barren planet, Earth, all alone, and he's just the Ghost Rider at this point. Yes. So with that, he is on the planet for a very long time, on his own, etc., etc. He's no one to talk to. He's the Punisher, so he's a very brooding individual, and that can only last for so many years. He goes absolutely and utterly insane. So, in the event that you read anything from Cosmic Ghost Rider, he does not sound like Frank Castle even a little bit, right? There's a couple spots where he'll get depowered for various reasons, like Odin depowers him for a second, and he'll sort of talk normal, but ultimately his mind has fragmented from all this time alone, and he sees things and he hears voices and stuff like that. So he becomes very Deadpool-esque. So he's just batshit crazy, right? So that is an important thing. Another thing I want to point out is kind of neat. Frank Castle, the Punisher, inspired the DC character Lobo, and I'm most familiar with him with the moniker of Lobo, the Immortal Killer. And then Cosmic Ghost Rider is actually based off of Lobo. So that's also why they're like, you know what? So it's not so much him trying to be Deadpool, it's him being Lobo, who's also insane, talking crazy. He's not breaking the fourth wall. He's just nuts. He doesn't really listen to people. He listens to the voices in his head more than anything else, and he makes really rash and crazy decisions, right? Like Lobo over Deadpool, right? Deadpool does make rash and crazy decisions, but he's always got a kind of a weird reason. This dude just sort of unhinged. So it's really important to kind of take into consideration, and it's just a neat little fact. A servant of Thanos. So the way that this sort of ends up all working out, we have Frank Castle, the Ghost Rider, stuck on Earth by himself for years and years and years. And what happened was Thanos is working on killing everybody in the universe, and then he ends up in the situation where he essentially has these pillars. He has these very specific people he's having trouble killing. One he calls the Fallen One, and then Galactus is another. He horribly injures Galactus, and Galactus retreats, and Galactus is injured, and he ends up on Earth, where he runs into Frank Castle, who isn't convinced he's there at first, but eventually, as Galactus is trying to kind of heal himself, he's like, okay, you can eat this, you can eat Earth, that's fine, but like, let me be your herald, I'll help you. I'm super powerful, and I want him to die. I want Thanos dead. We can work on that together. And after very little bit of convincing, Galactus is like, okay, cool, Power Cosmic, you're my herald. So now we have Spirit of Vengeance, we have Cosmic Awareness, etc. They're like, all right, we're freaking ready. Let's do this. We're gonna go fight and kill Thanos together. Cosmic Ghost Rider and Galactus besties for life. And then they get to where Thanos is, and Thanos immediately beheads and kills Galactus. Immediately. Very fast. Done. Right? And with that, Cosmic Ghost Rider is like, oh, holy crap. What am I gonna do? And Thanos essentially gets him by the neck, more or less. You can't really get his neck because he doesn't have one. But he gets him in a position, and he's like, all right, this is how this works. You work for me, or I'll kill you, and you'll be hard dead, whatever, and I'm gonna make it very painful, and etc. etc. And at the end of the day, my man's crazy as heck, and he doesn't know what he's doing with his life, so he's like, all right, I'm gonna be your servant. So the coolest thing about their relationship, the most messed up thing about the relationship that I like to point out when I talk about Cosmic Ghost Rider, because I think it's one of the neatest plot points. Ghost Rider is famous for his move, the pennant stare, right? So he looks into a person's eyes, and it's their soul, and they see all of their regrets and their sins. They see all of their sins throughout their whole life played out in front of them, and it dissolves people's souls, it burns them alive, etc. Thanos, it only works, that's the big caveat, it only works if they actually have any remorse. If there's any remorse whatsoever, it more often than not will kill them, if not drive them insane. So, when being held close to Thanos right before he becomes a servant, Frank does, and this is actually one of the main reasons why Thanos is like, I'm gonna keep you around. Frank's like, I don't know what to do, pennant stare, and he does pennant stare, and Thanos is like, that was cool, right? That was his reaction. Ghost Rider's like, I'm gonna use my most powerful move on you, and literally Thanos' reaction was like, oh, I liked that. That was a thing, because he feels zero remorse for the things that he's done, because he's done it for the act of death, right? So he's proud of it. So the way there's a routine is built after Cosmic Ghost Rider becomes a servant, and every single day when Thanos like more or less wakes up, the first thing he does is have Ghost Rider do a pennant stare on him. That's how he starts the day, right? He likes to see all these things he's done, and his day-to-day is searching for like new planets and stuff where he hasn't killed a bunch of people, right? And actually, especially when we find Thanos, he's prepping for his fight with the Fallen One, because the Fallen One being the one he can't actually take out. So moving forward, relationships. It's Frank Castle. So Maria Castle is his wife. Lisa and Frank Castle Jr. are his children, and then Thanos is his adopted son. So one thing we get with Cosmic Ghost Rider, and when we're going to talk about notable events, Cosmic Ghost Rider kind of he time travels, he universe hops. You have to like really consider that Spirit of Vengeance mixed with cosmic power. He has no trouble hopping between different universes, etc. So all of the story that I've been telling you up to now kind of leads into the notable events. So you sort of got 3 notable events, which is the establishing of Cosmic Ghost Rider, moving into Baby Thanos, which is the most famous. That's the actual. So everything I've said right now, up until the fighting of the Fallen One, is the Thanos wins storyline, and then when you break into Cosmic Ghost Rider storyline, it's the Baby Thanos storyline. So Thanos is his adopted son. Remember, we're also typically in Frosty Feature we stick to 616 canon. In this situation, we're hopping between a lot, but mostly it's the TRN 666. Cosmic Ghost Rider does end up in the 616 and is currently in the 616, so that's important to note. Notable events, baby Thanos. So yes, that is a baby Thanos on top of Cosmic Ghost Rider's head. So the way that this works, the Fallen shows up. This is an epic battle, and it is Silver Surfer with Mjolnir, right? So it is Thor-powered Silver Surfer, and that's who the Fallen One is. And immediately, Silver Surfer just destroys Cosmic Ghost Rider. Cosmic Ghost Rider's undead or whatever, so he's ahead for a bit, and he's fine. And, because it's also almost impossible to kill the Herald of Galactus. And then, the Fallen One starts fighting Thanos. Thanos, ends up getting the upper hand, and he kills the Fallen One. He kills Silver Surfer, Thor, so the whole thing is like, oh, I'm not able to wield it. He's like, it's so cool. He comes in and he's like, I'm going to kill you with your hammer. And Silver Surfer's like, you can't wield this hammer. And ultimately, he drops the hammer. And so Thanos grabs Silver Surfer and stabs him through the chest with Mjolnir stuck on the ground. He's like, I told you I'd kill you with your hammer. Oh, it's badass. Anyway, I didn't actually say the word. It's fine. So with that, after this happens, etc., Thanos realizes he needs to kill himself to become with death. So he has Cosmic Ghost Rider go back in time, grab a younger Thanos to fight and kill him, which happens. They both die. The universe ends. So then we have a more or less time-displaced Cosmic Ghost Rider, and then he gets picked up by Odin, and Odin's like, you were a valiant warrior in life, etc., etc. You could be in Valhalla. And Frank's there, and he's not digging Valhalla, and Odin's like, you earned this. What can? And he's like, well, this is supposed to be my heaven, and I'm not with my family. What is that? And he's depowered at this point, and he's like, fine, I will send you back to life, and I'll send you at any point in time. What, like, in any situation, what would you like? And he was like, give me back my powers and send me back to when Thanos was born. I'm gonna kill him. So he's gonna kill a baby Thanos. So we get sent back. And he's like, all right, I'm going to kill this little baby. Ha ha ha. And he grabs the little baby thinking he's weaker, and he Pennet stares him. And this time, nothing happens. And it's because the baby hasn't sinned. It's a baby. It's not evil yet. And that makes Frank go, oh, well, okay. He's not actually evil yet. He's a baby. So he could be raised to become good. Right? So he's like, obviously, I'm the most stable thing that could possibly happen to this child. I'm gonna raise, well, that's not actually what happened. He tries to find someone to raise him, and then everybody's like, that's a horrible idea, put that baby back. And then since he can't find anyone else to raise him, he's like, okay, well, I'm the only option, so I'm gonna raise this kid. And then Uatu shows up a lot in the Cosmic Ghost Rider storylines and eventually gets killed by Cosmic Ghost Rider. I don't think I talk about it in this thing, so it's something to point out. He dies all the time, it's fine. Uatu's like, absolutely not. Everybody's like, absolutely not. And then Frank's like, screw it, I'm gonna raise baby Thanos, and he's gonna be so cool. And I believe that I can make this work. And so everybody, essentially, it's a group of Guardians of the Galaxy, but it's multiversal, and it's led by Cable, and Cable keeps time slipping every time there's a thing. But essentially, waves and waves of these different versions of Guardians of the Galaxy keep showing up and attacking Cosmic Ghost Rider, because you need to not do this. This is going to be very bad, because in raising baby Thanos, he makes a worse Thanos. So instead of somebody who's just killing everybody quickly, etc., etc., he raises a Punisher Thanos. So if you look at, you can find pictures of Thanos wearing the Punisher suit. This Thanos is and worse is very subjective, but this Thanos has enslaved everyone, and essentially it's his way or you die. But at least they're alive. So the comics lay it out that he's worse, but you do get a life. So but essentially there's no crime, whatever. It's sort of this utopian dystopia kind of situation, and Thanos is the harsh ruler, and he's got the whole universe on lock. We end up finding Cosmic Ghost Rider with the baby. He time slips kind of thing, and he sees this after getting attacked after killing a whole bunch of Guardians. So all of these Guardians of the Galaxy are coming, and Cosmic Ghost Rider is massacring them, and it always comes down to him and Cable, and right before Cable dies, every time, he time slips, and then 5 minutes later, he shows up with another group of Guardians with all new superheroes, etc., over and over and over, and Cosmic Ghost Rider, I can't remember, it's described in the thing, but essentially, he's just massacring all these Guardians of the Galaxies, and baby Thanos is just watching, right? So, eventually, actually, baby Thanos becomes this kind of, like, murderous little thing, and, Cosmic Ghost Rider is realizing that this is going on, and he is convinced that, eventually he's finally convinced that he can't actually do what's best for the baby, so he puts the baby back in the timeline, and he kills the Punisher Thanos, which more or less kills him, you'll find Cosmic Ghost Rider pretty much dies at the end of every little arc he's in, and then he comes back because he's awesome. So anyway, he kills Punisher Thanos, and that's the thing. So when he gets his butt kicked by Silver Surfer, he gets his butt kicked by old Thanos and young Thanos, and at this point, that is the only part of the story I don't like is when he goes to fight Punisher Thanos, he's just like, I've been holding back this whole time. I can take you, and more or less he does. He uses all of his power, dies, whatever, and then the entire universe sort of like ends, more or less. So anyway, eventually we have the death and resurrection. He gets pulled into the 616 storyline. And as they do with all of the alternate universe characters that are cool, they pull them into the 616 because that's the thing that matters. And once again, the 616 is not the MCU as the MCU would like you to believe, but Cosmic Ghost Rider is pulled into the 616, and there is a situation where he feels through the cosmos that Thanos has died at the hands of Gamora, so he goes and he finds the body. When he finds the body, it is a beheaded Thanos, and he's like, yes, this has happened. Thanos is dead. All is well. And Eros, or Star Fox, appears, and he's like, yes, and we're going to read Thanos' last will and testament, and we're going to bring all these, and I've actually talked about this a little bit on another Frosty feature. We're going to bring all these people here, and we're going to read Thanos' last will and testament. And so everybody's like, okay, weird flex, but we'll do that. So, what do we do? Everybody gets around, and then the Black Order show up. Essentially, it's red, and what he read was, I'm Thanos. My last will and testament, I transferred my consciousness into somebody else. Have fun. And the Black Order show up, and they attack and create this large black hole, and everybody starts getting sucked into the black hole, and they're all gonna die. And then Beta Ray Bill uses his Thorish powers, and he runs in there, and he grabs everybody, and they fly out, right? So with that, the Peter Quill is one of the big people that are involved in this reading of the stuff for Thanos. So the Guardians are all there, and so as being pulled out by Beta Ray Bill, and Beta Ray Bill often has stints with the Guardians of the Galaxy. We talked about that in Frosty Features Beta Ray Bill. Peter Quill's like, yo, Cosmic Ghost Rider, you should join us. And he's like, yeah, sure, I don't have anything else to do. And what we find is that he does not jive. He does not jive with Beta Ray Bill. He does not jive with Groot. He does not jive with anybody. So eventually he splits off. So the whole thing is they're like, we need to figure out who is the reincarnation, who is the possessed person, who is the new Thanos, essentially. And they're like, okay, well, obviously it's Gamora. She's the last person sealed alive. She killed him. So that's obviously who it's going to be. This creates a fission. And then we have the Dark Guardians versus the Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy obviously wanting to protect Gamora, and the Dark Guardians not wanting to take any chances, so their move is to kill Gamora. We see this sort of this fight, this fission, etc. And as they are tracking down Gamora, they go through Nova, who had a fling with Gamora. They go through Nova, they go to find him, and then Hela shows up, and Hela's like, yo, guess what? I'm here to F stuff up. So number one, Cosmic Ghost Rider, you're pretty interesting. I just noticed that you're undead. And Cosmic Ghost Rider is like, I'm absolutely undead. Thank you very much for noticing. And Hela is like, well, guess who has control over the dead? And then automatically has control over Cosmic Ghost Rider. What a thing. So she all of a sudden has access to the full thing. And all of a sudden, she's like, oh, and by the way, it's not Gamora, it's Star Fox who is the reincarnation of Thanos. That whole thing was Thanos doing his own stuff from the beginning, and it's his brother. Star Fox is Thanos' brother. I don't know if I said that. The whole time, I'm gonna go hang out with them. I'm gonna go hang out with him. You're coming with me, Frank, and let's do that. So they go hang out nowhere, and then the Dark Guardians and Guardians of the Galaxy arrange an attack, and they go all in to attack the attack nowhere, try to stop Thanos. They're going to resurrect Thanos. Hela obviously has the power to do so, being a form of an agent of death similar to Thanos, so trying to bring him back. So Star Fox, Hela, Cosmic Ghost Rider, and so the various Guardians attack nowhere, and in doing so, they injure Hela, essentially knocking her out of the way, and in doing so, she loses her grip on Cosmic Ghost Rider. So because of Cosmic Ghost Rider's fighting and things like that, and being heavily injured and kind of abused by Hela and situations, he is so weak that when Hela's control comes off of him, he's not able to hold his own form together, and he falls apart and dies. And then we next see him in Johnny Blaze King of Hell storyline, where there's a Ghost Rider challenge in Hell, which is super cool. But anyway, check those out. That's a lot of stuff, and I spoiled a lot of stuff in the Baby Thanos stuff, but check out the rest of that Dark Guardians run to figure out. You can see what happens there. Gotta leave a little bit of mystery somewhere in these bad boys. Power level. Marvel Strike Force doesn't care about power level, but here on Frosty Features, we do. Dang it. And the way this works, if you are a multiversal threat, you are a threat to all of reality, not just your reality, but the entire multiverse as it stands. You can topple it over at a whim. Universal means that you are a threat to your reality, can hop over to the next reality and end it there, and slowly take them out one by one, etc. Cosmic means that you have something similar to the Power Cosmic, or the Power Cosmic itself. Ultimately, you can level things like small planetary bodies all the way up to solar systems or galaxies with enough time. Nuclear means you have power equal to that of a nuclear bomb, which means you can level something like a small city up to a small planetary body, once again, with enough effort. Super Soldier means you are beyond all capabilities of humankind, right? So you can level things like brick walls all the way up to maybe a city block. City means you are a human being that is trained to the absolute and utter peak of human ability. In Marvel, this is where we see a lot of our assassins, our secret agents, our mercenaries, etc. And then there's Greg. Greg is the undead Asgardian that's spawned by Hela and Marvel Strike Force, and without Hela or Zim or something, Greg really isn't much to worry about, right? So, in the event that I, as a regular human being, and he being an undead Asgardian with undead Asgardian physiology, if I'm walking out of TJ Maxx with my brand new hot sauce collection still in box, and Greg pisses me off, theoretically, I could take Greg with my hot sauce collection, right? So, for the sake of argument, I am going to equate Greg to a regular human being level, and in the case of Cosmic Ghost Rider, there's a lot of things to consider here, right? First off, his name is Cosmic Ghost Rider. That automatically lends itself to cosmic levels. He is Frank Castle. Frank Castle is inherently city level. He is a extraordinarily skilled human being, right? That plus the addition of being a Ghost Rider automatically puts him in the nuclear / cosmic section. And then that, on top of that, having cosmic awareness. So, this one is very hard to say. The obvious answer is cosmic. I'm going to make the argument that we are seeing a universal being here because a lot of his actions, even though he gets owned by a lot of people, a lot of his actions end in result in the ending of universes often, and it often has to do with how he's using his own powers, right? So it is debatable that he is upper end cosmic. I'm going to say he's lower end universal because 90% of the time when he's fighting as well, he's pointing out that he's holding back. So when we actually see him go all out, each time he ends a timeline, right? So we need to be And he only really goes out when he's fighting something like Galactus or whatever. Not Galactus, Thanos. So there's a few more stories. I did not cover all of Cosmic Ghost Rider stories. He's only been around since 2017, which means he doesn't have too many arcs, so it's very easy to read all of his stuff. There's still one more arc that I didn't cover, so I highly recommend checking it out. It's a lot of fun, and as you can see, they usually go all out on the art for Cosmic Ghost Rider, so I highly recommend checking it out. Yes, so on to that. According to Scopely, as I pointed it out as it came, Thanos did not kill Frank Castle. Frank Castle got killed by association of a Thanos attack. But besides that, this is very general. He sets off with Galactus to defend. It's really more of an Avengers kind of thing. There's more or less avenging, and it doesn't work. So they do try to defeat Thanos once and for all, but it's extremely unsuccessful. It's a really weird way to end this, and it's extremely general. So I'm saying nice try. None of this is inherently wrong. It's just there's no detail, and it's extraordinarily generalized. So it's not that bad of a description, but it's not a good one. So nice try. Thank you all very, very much. That was Frosty Features Cosmic Ghost Rider. I hope that you enjoyed it as much as I loved giving it. As a reminder, I stream at the link above on Sundays, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, where we do Frosty Features Live. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment on this video. It helps the channel so much, and it doesn't cost you anything but a couple of clicks. Please let me know in the comments if I missed anything, your favorite Cosmic Ghost Rider moments, maybe your favorite Punisher moments. Let me know. I hope that you all enjoyed this. I hope that you all have a fantastic weekend. Most importantly, stay cool.